Part fucking three. Jeez. Thank you for sticking around this long. Thank you for sticking around this long. I know that, oh shit. I just got invited to a wedding. Phone just went off, and I don't know if you heard it vibrate or not, but I just got invited to a wedding. Awesome. Yeah, part three. So where the fuck did I leave off, right? So recap of this whole fucking series. I move into house. That fell apart. Move into the apartment with bad friend and girlfriends. They end up breaking up. I'm living with the bad friends. You know, he's a bad weed smoker, and he's moving out. He left all of his stuff. Yeah, so he leaves. Oh yeah, and his mom and dad, right? So his mom and dad come to get the rest of his shit. And keep in mind at this point, he's ignoring me, right? I'm the one who did wrong. I'm the one who kicked him out. Oh, he's mad at me, right? So I call up his mom. God bless her heart. And she and her husband come to pick up everything. And I think I told him at this point. Yeah, I think I already, because I was talking with recruiters. This is when I was planning on joining the military. And, you know, we were having like a little conversation, and their parents weren't mad at me at all. Like his parents, like, they were not mad at me at all. And, you know, they came to get his stuff, you know, we were kind of, you know, laughing, doing whatever. And, you know, I'm helping them, you know, take out everything. And his mom, I think his mom even said, like, I'm surprised, like, you let him stay here this long, or I'm surprised, like, it even lasted this long, or I think she said something like that. I don't fucking know. I don't remember. But then I bring up the military thing because his dad drove a truck, and his license plate was, the rating for, you know, warrant officer, third, second, I can't remember. But whatever, neither here nor there. I'm getting off track. So, right, I'm alone at the apartment because the good friend that was supposed to move in, something ended up happening with him. I forget, but something ended up happening with him, and he actually wasn't able to move in. And so I'm like, fuck, you know, I think at this point, like, I still had like 6-7 months left on the lease, right? And I'm looking for a roommate. I'm fucking, this was the worst struggle that I've ever personally been to, right? I'm starting to crunch numbers, starting to get behind on bills, had to cancel the internet, had to turn off my phone, don't got any gas money to go nowhere. So, you know, I'm walking to work, and I would walk right? I'm working two jobs, right? I work at Quiznos and I work at GameStop. And GameStop was part-time, Quiznos was part-time. You know, GameStop I only got, you know, a couple $100 from. Quiznos, thank God, right? It was a blessing because that's where I would get my meal. I would close every single night at Quiznos, but I would only work a 2-hour shift, right? And my car wasn't good enough to fucking drive there. Like, I had to save my gas because GameStop was farther than Quiznos. And so I would walk 2 hours to go to Quiznos, to work 2 hours of minimum wage, and you know, I would walk 2 hours back. Thankfully, it was a food place because I couldn't afford food, right? This is when, like, I started, you know, and I'm preserving, like, all energy, all electricity. I fucking, like, I'm taking showers in the dark, right? I'm not turning lights on when I'm using my fucking phone, flashlight, you know, when I get in after dark and everything. And, you know, the eviction notices are starting to come up, you know, and so I go to the front office and I was like, hey, this is my situation, because they didn't know she moved out. She still wasn't off of the lease. And yeah, I'm trying to get the story straight. So I had to tell him, oh, no, 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 no. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So yeah, I already took her to court and everything. And that was when, when I got that money, that's when I went to the front office because I took her to court because of the eviction notices. That's right. Because they were like, hey, you're behind on all your stuff, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. And so, I go and out, and so they were like, all right, they were like, well, give us what you can, give us what you can. And keep in mind, when you're late on rent and you don't pay it in full, I think they had like a 4-day grace period, and every day you were late after that, it was like a $20 late fee. And so I'm just giving them piece by piece by piece by piece. And I think the rent was like $750 or something like that. But I'm paying like almost $1,000 because of all these fucking late fees, right? And so then I find this job at a call center, right? And it pays above minimum wage, right? I'm making minimum wage at GameStop. I'm barely working part-time, and I'm making minimum wage at Quiznos. We still took tips, but the amount of people that tipped throughout the day was fucking nil. Like, and even bless the employees' hearts. I actually got a story about Quiznos. Oh shit. I gotta write that down before I forget. Hold up. One second. I'm bringing it up because I have my little notepad, digital notepad full of subjects. Remind me to tell the story about the crazy girl at Quiznos. All right, cool. So, so now y'all know a subject for an upcoming episode. But so yeah, I'm working 3 jobs. I'm still scraping by, and I'm not gonna lie, I was really not disappointed, right? I wasn't expecting any handouts from anybody. I wasn't expecting, anyone to, come and run to my aid, right? Jump to my aid. But if I knew one of my friends was in the situation that, but then again, I will say that I didn't advertise it, I didn't go to my friends and I wasn't like, oh shit, I'm broke. Oh, hey, I'm barely making ends meet. Hey, I'm living on my next paycheck, not even my next paycheck, the paycheck after that, and so like, I was really like, I was just focused. I was driven. I was doing what I could do to, just to get out of the situation, And so, and like I said, my internet was off, my phone was off, and I guess that kind of goes to show, like, people weren't trying to contact me. Like, nobody was trying to talk, nobody was trying to talk to me. Nobody was trying to contact me. So, and I didn't realize this until after I got out of my funk, right? I didn't realize this until after I got out of my funk. But, anyways, so I'm working 3 jobs. I'm starting to catch up, on the bills. I'm starting to catch up. And then God sends me an angel, right? One of my friends, right? And I knew him, I at the time he was just a buddy, good kid, head on, a good head on his shoulders. But once again, this was his first time moving out, and this would have been his first place to live. And so I was just like, fuck, man, like, I'm tired of living with people, whose first time, whatever. But I needed it, I needed the roommate. I couldn't afford the other $500 a month, And so I took him in, and this dude, he actually cleaned up after himself. He, it was like the little things. It was like going from a bad car to a good car, right? He actually, he had enough money. He knew how to budget. He cleaned up after himself. He ate and cooked his own food, like there was no more, he wasn't a fucking parasite, basically. And what does this dude do when he gets into the apartment? He moves in. He starts fucking cleaning. He put food in the fridge. Like, I was like, damn, dude. I was like, are you my fucking girlfriend? I was like, holy shit. Like, this dude, and I, because he knew my situation. And so maybe, I think he just, kind of felt bad. And I think he thought I deserved, better because, and I'm not going to lie, like, I was working my ass off, right? I was working my ass off. And so, he felt in his heart, that, bless him. God, if you're listening to me, bless him, But, no, he was an awesome, awesome roommate. The complete fucking opposite. Complete opposite. You know, we stopped getting complaints. The neighbors stopped giving me the sideways look, stopped looking at me funny, giving me dirty looks and shit, you know? And cause, the neighbors don't know, they think it's me, right? They think it's me. But then when he moved out, then they realized, oh shit, it wasn't me. It was actually him. And so, and I'm actually I'm talking to my neighbors and stuff, right? I'm actually having like little conversations, things are good, or at least as far as I can tell, things are good. And no, it was awesome. And, we would work out together. He got me into like working out and exercising and shit. And so, we'd work out together and, we would fucking play video games and shit all night. We would, it was fucking awesome. It was a great living situation. But then, he comes to me one day. And he says, hey, Jake, do you remember this guy from school? I say, yeah, I do remember that guy from school. Well, he moved to Chicago with his mom, and he wants to move back. He wants to move back down here. So what I'm asking you, can he stay with us until he finds his own place to live? Big red flag. The alarm goes off. Right? And I say, no, hell no. How about a fuck no with some hell no on the side, right? And so he's like, please. And I was like, no. And this dude is asking for weeks, right? This dude's asking for weeks. And we've already been living together for, I want to say maybe like 2-3 months at this point, I believe. And so, so he's just like, please, please. And I was like, you know what? I was like, all right. I was like, the bills are going to be cheaper. And I was like, and this dude, he's allowed me to, trust people again, in terms of, and I was like, he's a good guy. He's got his shit in order. So I was like, since he's that way, I assumed that those are the people he likes to keep in his circles. And so the guy he wants to, bring here, he's going to be that way. And so I finally said yes. Right? Cause I'm a cheap ass, going through that struggle of working, the 3 jobs, like, fucking, it definitely made me realize how important, really how important money is, and it made me realize why there are people out there that say money over everything, and so, and I'm definitely like that now, money over everything. And so this dude comes down, right? And it was actually like, it was awesome, he already paid me for, the next month's rent and everything. He was buying his own food. He was, he was being responsible. So I was like, dope. Slowly but surely, right? Because it was a 2-bedroom apartment, 3 dudes living in it, and he was sleeping on the couch, right? Keep in mind, this was only supposed to be a temporary situation. But then, it's coming towards the end of the month, and so I told him, I was like, hey guys, I was like, give me your rent on this day so I can pay it on the 1st, whatever. But then good roommate tells me, hey, he doesn't want to pay rent. Excuse me? What'd you say? Run that by me again? Yeah, he doesn't want to pay rent because he says like he's sleeping on the couch, and even his mom said he shouldn't have to pay rent. And so I said, no. If that's what he really believes, he can tell me. He can look me in my eyes and he can tell me that, right? He can look me in my face and tell me that. But if he's staying, he's paying. Point blank, period. So then he's like, all right, I'll tell him, right? Because these two, they have a better dynamic than me and the Chicago guy, right? And so I remember too, I think it was like the week of, right? The week of, the rent's coming up. And so, and this dude's avoiding me, right? He knew my schedule because I had like a whiteboard and, I was still working the jobs and everything. He knew my schedule, and I had a whiteboard with my schedule written out on it. And, so did the other dude. We all knew his schedule, and, we just knew each other's schedules. And he would only be there when I wasn't. He started to like hang out with more friends and started to stay there like little by little. But at the end of the night, he would always come back. He would always be here, No, there were some times where he would spend the night at other places and, stuff like that. But still, he was staying there. His stuff was still here. So, you know what I mean? And so, I think it was it was a couple days before the first, and he didn't know that I was there, but he had to come and get something, right? And, my door's closed, and the way the apartment was set up was from my room. You could see the, front door. Like if you walk in the front door straight down the hallway, it's a straight shot to my room. And there was a vent on the bottom of the door. Oh, that's another thing that motherfucker broke. The other bad roommate, he broke the vent on the fucking door. Or let me take that back. His fucking dog did. His dog broke the fucking vent on the door. On my door. So that's 2 broken doors. Sorry. Anyways. And so, and I was laying down on my bed. I'm looking through the vent, see who's coming to my fucking apartment. And I see a Chicago boy. And he walks into the other roommate's room. I open up my door, and he hears me open up the door, right? You hear the doorknob, you hear the hinges squeak, and I know he heard that shit. And I'm standing in my doorway. I'm leaning against the door frame. Motherfucker gotta come out eventually. And so this dude, right? He sees me for a split second. And he averts he turns away with the quickness, right? Trying to jet out of there. And I said, hey, no. I said, what the fuck? Where you going? Bring your bitch ass over here. I said, where the fuck you going? I say, what's this I hear about you not wanting to pay rent? And he's not even looking me in the eye, right? He's not even looking at me. And he's like, oh, well, I don't believe that I should. And this is literally what he sounds like. I'm not even putting on like a bitch voice. This is literally what he sounds like when he was telling me this. Oh, well, I don't believe I should pay rent because, I'm sleeping on the couch and, it's kind of not fair and it's not even. And so I just cut him off. I was like, listen, bitch. I didn't call him bitch, but no, I was like, listen, I was like, if you stay, you pay. I was like, if your stuff is here and you're sleeping here, you're paying rent. I was like, it's as simple as that. And so, he didn't even say anything. He just walked out, whatever. This motherfucker, right? And so, and I remember I asked him, I was like, is it because you don't have enough money? Is it because, he's like, no, I got the money. I can pay the rent. I got the money, but, that's what he was telling, his friend. He was like, I got the money. He's like, but I'm not paying rent. I got the money. I'm not paying rent. And so I was like, so let me get this straight. If you tell your water, the water company, right? Oh, I got the money to pay the bill, but I'm not going to fucking pay it. I don't want to pay the water bill. I don't care if I use it. I'm not paying. Like, excuse me? Fucking. So. Fucking lost my train of thought. Sorry. Oh, so yeah, he doesn't say shit. He walks out. Literally the day before the first, I come back from work. All of his stuff is gone, right? All of his stuff is gone. And we were actually getting complaint because he would only, he didn't have a job. He was looking for somewhere else to stay, and he would keep the windows open and he would blast, he had like these speakers that he brought with his laptop, right? And so he'd either be playing a video game or, he wanted to like make beats and shit. And so I'd be coming back and he would be blasting this shit, bro. Like he would be no fucks given, right? No common courtesy at all for the neighbors. And so I walk in and I'm like, turn that shit down, dude. Like, what the fuck are you thinking? Like, it's one thing to be, it's too loud just in general. You cannot do this shit this loud. Second, the windows are fucking open. So now you're just broadcasting, out to whatever the fuck you're doing. I hope you weren't watching porn. There's kids here. There's kids here. But whatever, like I said, slowly but surely he started to get obnoxious. He started to, get a little too comfortable, started whatever. Day before he leaves, right? I come back, all of his stuff is gone. Everything's gone. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, okay, whatever. Guess he didn't want to stay. But this dude leaves a receipt on the counter, right? His name is on the receipt. His account balance is on the receipt. It was he literally did it as a, fuck you, I could have stayed. I did have the money. Like, but I chose not to pay you. You know what I mean? And so he actually did. He did move back to Chicago with his mom because he couldn't find a place to stay. He couldn't find a job. Oh, and here's the thing, right? The good roommate. So this guy, he didn't have a job, and the good roommate could have gotten him a job at his job. And he was like, no, I don't want to work there. I don't want to work there. And it's one of those situations, like beggars can't be fucking choosers, dude. Like, you don't have any source of income. So anything you do, you're in the negative, right? You have no positive coming in, so you're only spending. You're in a deficit. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if you have $1,000 in your account. You're gonna spend money throughout the month. You're gonna spend money on whatever the fuck. And if you don't have anything coming in, you're just spending. You're just on a downward slope with your bank account. And so we're like, beggars can't be choosers. You don't have a job. You don't have, like, he was like, whoa, well, I don't want to work there. I don't want to work there. And so then I was, because I remember they actually started to get kind of heated. They actually like started to get an argument. And I was like, dude, just take the fucking job. I was like, get something and just look for what you want in the meantime. That's how you do it, right? You work because you still got bills to pay, right? You still got to make money somehow, and if you're doing what you don't want to do, just do what you don't want to do for a little bit. Everything's got a beginning, middle, and end. God forbid you work a job you don't like for a couple months and, actually look for what you want to do. So he didn't want to get a job, right? Even though this dude the good roommate was literally like, I can get you a fucking job. He didn't want to get a job. He didn't want to pay rent. He didn't want, and I guess he knew someone at the YMCA or some shit like that. And he was taking like kung fu lessons or karate lessons, or I don't fucking know. I remember because I was going to an MMA gym and I took him once, and his technique was fucking horrible. This dude never been in a fight in his life. Like, I just remember there was like, we were doing some drills together and I was just like, dude, I could easily fuck you up right now. I was like, your guard's messed up. Your form is messed up. You don't know how to throw a fucking punch. You don't know how to, whatever. That's neither here nor there. But anyway, right? Anyway, so this dude leaves the receipt. And so I was like, and just because like, and I remember when the good roommate came back that night, I was like, hey, did you leave that receipt on the counter? On the kitchen counter? And he was like, no. He was like, oh my God. And so I mean that was that, right? That was that. Then the good roommate, he ended up moving out because I was leaving for the military, and I helped him move into his own place and everything. And we still keep in contact. We still keep in touch. We'll send each other, some memes every now and again. I haven't talked to him in a while now, and for the past couple days, actually for the past couple weeks, I've been wanting to reach out to him again. I haven't, not for any particular reason, I just haven't, just cause, I'm trying to do my own thing right now. And no, I'll definitely be getting in touch with him soon enough here, because he is a good dude. He is a good friend. I just kind of want to catch up with him, touch base with him, see where he's at, see what he's doing. So I guess in this 3-parter, and I know I went way over the time that I usually, go over, but if keep good people in your life, right? If you were to take anything away from this 3-part series, trust your gut, know who you keep around. Know who you live with. No, don't just, I get if you're like in college or whatever and, you're dorming and, you don't get to choose, but if you get to choose your roommates, if you, and just make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. And that's with anything. Just make sure you know what you're getting yourself into before you make any decision, before it's a big decision, little decision. Just be smart about it. Think about every possible scenario, situation, whatever. Your quality of life is important. Ease of life, quality of life, it's all important. And like, let's say I was moving in with a good person, but it was mad expensive, or I can move in with the shitty person and it's going to be cheap. Like, really, at the end of the day, yeah, I'm saving money, but I'm fucking miserable. And I'm going to get out of that situation anyways. I'm going to get myself out of that situation because I don't like it. I'm going to change my situation. So, and I use that as an example just to keep good people in your life, keep them around. Definitely, if they were there for you, that's who your true friends are. If they helped you in your time of need, if they, and the fact that if they stick around and they are good for you, and however you benefit from them, and when I say benefit from them, I mean benefit from them from like a characteristic point of view. If they make you a better person, and this is with any relationship, friend, girlfriend, husband, it doesn't matter. Any relationship, right? You should be benefiting from something somehow in some way, right? Whether it's just your happiness, whether it's something physical, whether it's, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what it is. If the benefit outweighs the cost, right? Then it's worth it. So I know I'm rambling at this point. I know I just wanted to, kind of get that off my chest, kind of get that little bit out there. Hope y'all enjoyed and I still left. I could go on, and I know I'm going to bring this story back up, right? I'm going to keep bringing like tidbits and stuff of this story back up. And you're going to hear it, throughout, but I hope it was entertaining. I hope it was enjoyable. So, if you're listening still at this point, thanks again. And until next time, that's all I got.